Great Demon King. Chapter 53. The Perils of the Town of Drol. Thought for a few seconds below is your original Chapter 53, with grammar refined, style preserved, and expanded by about half, adding extra detail, introspection, and atmospheric description, while never shortening any of the original content. This version maintains a continuous narrative flow without introducing new characters or altering the core story, ensuring clarity and enhancing the depth of the existing narrative. Chapter 53. The Perils of the Town of Drol. Loose. Felix's sharp command pierced the air, signaling the onset of a coordinated magical assault. Suddenly, all of the mages positioned next to Han Shuo and the others began chanting intricate magical incantations. A formidable array of sharp wind blades sliced through the air. Multiple large, blazing fireballs erupted. Several ice bolts shaped like deadly spikes rained down. Lightning violently struck from the heavens, and even the longswords from the light major students, radiant slash manifested in dazzling arcs, all converging on the charging wolf riders, Fanny and Jean joined in, their voices intertwining with the chants as skeletons and zombies staggered out from the shadows. One after another, these dark creatures surged forward from the side of the foremost warriors, launching themselves at the wolf riders with relentless aggression. The orcs mounted on their wolf steeds were immediately engulfed in waves of magic, suffering brutal blows from the onslaught teal. Beneath the relentless barrage of wind blades, numerous injuries marred the wolf riders and their formidable beasts. The large fireballs crashed down with devastating force, completely engulfing several wolf riders in flames. Soon after, the ice bolts and lightning strikes continued their deadly assault, taking down 10 or so more lives. However, despite the ferocity of the magical attacks, there were still 500 or so wolf riders advancing towards them. This wave of magic had only managed to eliminate the 30 or 40 riders at the very front. The remaining wolf riders showed no sign of fear or hesitation upon witnessing their fallen comrades. Fueled by a savage excitement, they thundered forward, indifferent to their impending doom. Just as the mages were preparing to unleash the second wave of magical incantations, crossbows materialized seemingly out of nowhere in the hands of the charging wolf riders. Without warning, a hail of sharp arrows flew through the air, soaring over the first row of heavily armored warriors and aiming directly at the mages and archers. "Everyone, be careful." Blanche, the elven archer, called out in a melodious voice, directing the archers to counterattack with precision. The mages, previously focused on their spells, swiftly adjusted their tactics. They redirected their magical assaults to intercept the incoming arrows, releasing waves of energy that collided with the projectiles mid-air, obliterating them before they could reach their intended targets. However, not all the arrows were destroyed by magic. 10 or so sharp missiles managed to slip through, their lethal tips finding their marks. The force behind them was immense, and they immediately pierced 2 Thunder novice mages, ending their lives in an instant. 3 more mages suffered severe injuries, their bodies racked with pain as they collapsed to the ground. At this moment, the 3 priests swiftly began chanting healing incantations, working diligently to mend the wounds of the injured mages. Despite the counterattacks, the wolf riders' sheer numbers began to overwhelm the defenders. They rushed forward with even greater speed, their large wolves charging with an aura of unstoppable ferocity. The skeletons and zombies, bearing the initial brunt of the assault, were demolished within seconds. The low-level skeletal warriors were trampled into bone dust, their efforts proving futile against the onslaught. The zombie warriors managed to stand up and fight back for a brief moment, but under the relentless slashes of the orcs' longswords, the heads of 10 or so zombies were simultaneously severed, sending their bodies tumbling to the ground lifelessly. Impful. The dark creatures of the necromancy major are indeed useless. Irene and a few other light major students began jeering at the necromancy students, their voices filled with disdain and frustration. Han Shuo grasped his dagger firmly, his entire being exuding calm and composure. His eyes were fixed on the charging wolf riders in the distance, completely ignoring the mockery coming from Irene and the light major studency. His focus remained unwavering, every sense attuned to the unfolding battle. The crossbows in the wolf riders' hands rose once more, and another barrage of arrows rained down upon the defenders. The mages in the back quickly adapted, using their magic to intercept and destroy the incoming projectiles mid-air. A few mages with more advanced training managed to obliterate the sharp arrows that flew their way, continuously releasing magical attacks to strike the advancing wolf riders. However, not all arrows were successfully intercepted. 10 sharp missiles still found their marks, piercing through the defenses and targeting the students of the necromancy major. Fanny and Jeannie's facial expressions changed from confidence to anxiety as they saw the arrows heading their way. Reacting swiftly, they each sent out bone arrows, destroying 3 of the incoming projectiles mid-air. One of the arrows veered off course, missing its target, while another made a beeline for Amy. At this moment, Amy panicked and began chanting a magic spell, her voice wavering with fear. Jean and Fanny, sensing the imminent threat, also started to chant magic, but their speed was noticeably slower than the velocity of the sharp arrow. A dagger suddenly drew a cold line through the air and flew into the sky like a bolt of lightning. A sharp crack echoed as the arrow that had been flying towards Amy shattered into several pieces. Simultaneously, Han Shuo's body surged with unexpected speed, rolling forward towards Amy's feet and catching the dagger just before it could hit the ground. "Thank you, Brian," Amy exclaimed, her face lighting up with relief and gratitude as the crisis was averted. "You're welcome." Han Shuo nodded with a faint smile, returning once again to Fanny and Lisa's side with the dagger still in hand. He surveyed the surroundings with a face full of calm, his eyes missing nothing despite the chaos around him. Finally, after inflicting the price of 70 injured or dead wolf riders, the wolf riders broke through the continuous waves of magical attacks and came into direct conflict with the warriors of Drol. A large-scale battle erupted. 50 to 60 warriors armed to the teeth with broadswords and long spears engaging the wolf riders head-on. 10 or so knights wielding lances fought valiantly from the backs of their battle steeds, their formations disciplined and their strikes precise. The mages chanted their spells, their magical energy manifesting in glorious sparkles as they flew through the air, landing powerful spells on the wolf riders charging at the defensive line. The entire southern part of the town of Drol had sunk into the heat of battle, the sounds of violent explosions and clashing weapons filling the night air. Han Shuo, Fanny, and the others were positioned behind the warriors, continuously chanting magic. Bolt after bolt of bone spears and arrows flew out from their hands, striking down the orc wolf riders that surged forward with relentless fury. Felix, hovering gracefully in midair, became the main target of all the orc wolf rider crossbows. More than 10 sharp bolts flew towards him, but Felix showed no trace of panic. He chanted an advanced wind magic spell, and a 10-meter tornado formed in the air behind the wolf riders. The tornado swept through the attackers, swallowing wolf riders wherever it touched, and accompanied by ghastly screams and wails that echoed endlessly. After the tornado had appeared, Felix raised his magic staff with authority, sending out more than 10 wind blades that instantaneously flew from his body, demolishing the sharp bolts that flew towards him. Simultaneously, a magic shield enveloped him completely, protecting him from any remaining projectiles. The few sharp missiles that managed to penetrate his initial defenses were effortlessly blocked by the magic shield, leaving Felix unharmed despite the intense assault. So strong. That's the true power of a mage. The light major students watched Felix relax yet formidable demeanor with expressions of adoration and awe. Their voices carried a mix of admiration and envy as they marveled at Felix's mastery of magic. Just as everyone was reflecting on Felix's impressive display of power, the previously calm Felix suddenly let out a great yell. "Oh dear. More wolf riders have appeared in the distance. There also seems to be a few orc shamans with them. Let's retreat. Everyone, split up and make for the city of Zajoski." Felix's words immediately had a significant impact on everyone assembled. Han Shuo was the first to react, grabbing Fanny's small hand and saying calmly, "Follow me, hurry." Fanny was startled but quickly regained her composure. When she saw Han Shuo's gravely calm expression, the curses that had formed on her lips transformed into, "All right. But where do you want to go?" "To where the battle steeds are kept. We must hurry and find the battle steeds. Only on the backs of horses will we have the chance to escape to Zajoski. Otherwise, it will be difficult to guarantee our escape from the grasp of the wolf riders," Han Shuo explained with decisiveness and grim determination. His mind was racing, formulating strategies to ensure their safe passage amidst the chaos. Fanny immediately reacted likewise when she heard Han Shuo's explanations, calling out hurriedly, "All students, follow me." Han Shuo knew that Fanny agreed with his plan when he heard her call out. He turned his head to see Lisa looking covetously at the hand that he'd used to grab Fanny's small hand. Han Shuo's expression turned wry as he also reached out a hand to grasp Lisa's hand, a silent acknowledgement of their united front. He then paid no attention to either of their expressions and hauled them off to where the battle steeds were kept. The urgency in his actions left no room for hesitation, his focus solely on ensuring their escape. As they navigated through the chaotic streets of Drol, the sounds of battle and the distant howls of the wolf riders filled the air. The town, once vibrant and bustling, now bore the scars of the fierce confrontation, buildings marked by scorch marks and shattered windows, standing as silent witnesses to the night's violence. Han Shuo moved with purpose, his enhanced physical condition allowing him to maneuver swiftly through the crowd. The battle steeds were kept in a large, sturdy stable near the edge of South Street, their majestic forms a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. Fanny led the way, her experience and leadership guiding the students through the labyrinthine streets with confidence. As they reached the stable, Han Shuo quickly dismounted and began preparing the battle steeds for departure. His hands moved deftly, securing saddles and ensuring that each mount was ready for the impending flight. The tension was palpable, the threat of the orc wolf riders still looming large in their minds. Quickly, everyone. We don't have much time, Fanny urged, her voice cutting through the noise of the battle outside. The students moved with haste, their faces set with determination as they mounted the sturdy steeds, ready to flee to the relative safety of Zajoski. As they prepared to leave, the sounds of the battle intensified, the wolf riders now pressing harder against the town's defenses. Han Shuo glanced back momentarily, ensuring that their path was clear before leading the charge towards the exit. The mages, archers, and warriors of Drol continued their fierce resistance, buying precious moments for Han Shuo and the group to escape. With a final push, they surged forward, the battle steeds' hooves pounding against the cobblestone streets as they raced towards their destination. The night air was thick with the scent of magic and blood, the once orderly town now a battlefield where only the strongest could survive. As they galloped through the streets, Han Shuo felt a surge of adrenaline. The events of the past days had transformed him, shaping him into a formidable force capable of navigating the harsh realities of the town of Drol. The allure of gold coins and the promise of power had driven him to take drastic measures, but now, amidst the chaos of battle, he realized that true strength lay not just in magic or weaponry, but in the ability to adapt and survive. The group made their way towards the gates of Zajoski, their hearts pounding with the urgency of their escape. Behind them, the sounds of the battle began to fade as they pushed further into the night, the promise of safety and a new beginning guiding their every step. As they approached the outskirts of Drol, the silhouette of the city loomed in the distance, a testament to both its resilience and its vulnerabilities. Han Shuo glanced back one last time, the memories of the fierce battles and the faces of fallen enemies etched into his mind. We're almost there, he said quietly, his voice steady and resolute. Keep moving, and stay alert. We can't afford any more delays. The journey to Zajoski was fraught with peril, but Han Shuo felt a newfound sense of confidence and determination. The trials of the Dark Forest, the confrontation with Claude, and the invasion of the Wolf Riders had forged him into someone stronger and more capable than ever before. As the first light of dawn began to break on the horizon, Han Shuo and his group finally reached the gates of Zajoski. Exhausted but triumphant, they dismounted and took a moment to catch their breath, the sun's rays casting a warm glow over the town's serene landscape. The perils of the town of Drol had tested them to their limits, but they had emerged victorious, their bonds strengthened and their resolve unshaken. Han Shuo looked ahead with a sense of anticipation, knowing that more challenges awaited them in this unforgiving world. With a final nod to Fanny and the others, Han Shuo stepped forward into the safety of Zajoski, ready to face whatever new adventures lay ahead. The town of Drol had taught him the harsh realities of power and survival, and now, armed with his enhanced abilities and unwavering determination, Han Shuo was prepared to carve his own path in this tumultuous world.